Welcome back everybody, my name is Nick930 and this is a review for the early access release of yet another Battle Royale game, Fractured Lands. Fractured Lands is a post-apocalyptic Battle Royale game which borrows significant inspiration from the Mad Max films. For the most part, it's your run-of-the-mill Battle Royale shooter game, complete with shrinking zone, random loot spawns, and frustrating near wins. But what sets Fractured Land apart from the rest is the heavy emphasis on using and maintaining your own personal rust bucket of a vehicle. You have the choice between two vehicles at the moment, a standard car and a motorcycle. Both vehicle types offer their own advantages. Cars have more durability and provide greater protection, while motorcycles are slightly faster and more maneuverable. When you begin the match, you won't drop out of the air like every other Battle Royale game, but instead will spawn in your vehicle next to everybody in the center of the map. You can choose the direction your vehicle is facing, but that's about it. When the match begins, all 30-some players peel out and begin looking for loot in nearby abandoned buildings. Buildings generally have a lot of loot, from standard personal weapons like assault rifles, SMGs, snipers, LMGs, and pistols, to vehicle parts like armored car doors, off-roading tires, or extended trunk space. To modify your character, you simply need to open your inventory and drag and drop items just like any other Battle Royale. This game also automatically equips attachments on equipped weapons, much like Islands of Nine, which I really like. To equip vehicle parts onto your vehicle, you need to approach the front of your vehicle and modify it, which can leave you vulnerable to an attack. It'd be cool if operating on your vehicle forced your character to open the hood and make an audible sound to indicate to nearby players that you're vulnerable to an attack, but unfortunately it just acts like a standard inventory menu. The personal weapons are all post-apocalyptic versions of real-world weapons, like a Glock pistol with some weird scrap parts attached to it. All the weapons feature very little recoil and handle very nicely, with some decent sound effects. But hit registration on enemies was difficult to determine at times, especially with sniper rifles. Either the blood effects need to be more visible, or the game needs to add in an audible sound or visual hit marker to make this clearer. Also, enemies shooting at you are often difficult to pinpoint due to the low muzzle flash effects. I think upping the brightness of the muzzle flash, or at least causing nearby static objects and textures to light up dynamically, would greatly help with this. The actual damage of the weapons feels pretty good, with each weapon feeling genuinely powerful. I never felt like I was at a huge disadvantage as long as I found a gun with ammo in it, whereas in other Battle Royales I often feel outmatched if I don't have the best gun in the game. Vehicles are another story though. Vehicles are the most unique aspect of Fractured Lands, and in their current state are more trouble than they're worth. They're only really a necessity in order to get from zone to zone, but in terms of actual combat, they're completely useless. I unloaded a mounted minigun on a player at point blank range and he still managed to slip away. It's hard enough getting the car and the gun lined up correctly to begin with, so this damage definitely needs to be increased. Vehicles also flip way too easily. I rammed into the side of a motorcycle and somehow that flipped my much heavier car. I also tried using my serrated edge tires to damage another player's vehicle, and it only resulted in my vehicle flying in the air. What's worse, when the car landed, it was stuck on the side, and there was absolutely no option for me to flip the car over or even jump out and fight back. There are special wheel attachments you can find that attach rocket pods to assist if your vehicle gets stuck like that, and that's fine. But I absolutely should be able to crawl out of my car and fight on foot if I get stuck like this. I did have an awesome moment where I found another player's vehicle and had an opportunity to sabotage it by removing weapons and destroying the tires. And it would be cool if the developers found a way to award players points for doing this, as it was a very unique way to eliminate an enemy. Next we have the zone. The zone behaves as you'd expect for the most part, but there's a bit of a twist with this one. The zone itself indicates a safe area from a massive dust storm, which looks pretty impressive for an indie game. Once you're in the white zone and the timer runs out, a siren can be heard and the storm will close in. What's strange is that instead of a new white circle getting smaller and smaller within itself, the entire circle moves somewhere else, within the larger red circle. Sometimes part of the new white circle is halfway in the storm, forcing you to stand at the edge. What's annoying about this is that there's a built-in filter effect when standing near the edge of a storm that limits your vision, which can put you at a huge disadvantage when trying to defend a strategic point within a circle. Outside of all these features though, Fractured Lands handles just like any other Battle Royale. And just like every other Battle Royale, Fractured Lands suffers from some major problems. First, there's the game's player count, which, as you'd expect, is very low. There's no server browser in this game, so you're stuck using the matchmaking button. And matchmaking can take anywhere from 5 minutes to instant depending on how lucky you are. The minimum player count for a match is 20 players with a max of 50, though I never saw a match go above 30-some players. I'm fine with the max player count being 50, especially with the larger emphasis on vehicle combat, but this game is going to need a server browser if it's going to stay relevant in the sea of Battle Royale games. Or, at the very least, needs to have improved matchmaking capabilities. There's also no sign of a duo or squad mode built in, but maybe I'm just looking in the wrong place, I'm not really sure. Seems like an odd omission considering there's a seat built into the rear of the vehicles and you can sit in the passenger seat of your car, so if it's not in the game, it'll likely be added at some point. The game's unlocks are probably the most refreshing aspect of this game. There's no loot crates in Fractured Lands. You instead rank up by playing the game and have a distinct list of unlockable cosmetics to customize your character's appearance, their clothes, and your vehicle. It's nice to see someone moving away from the obnoxious random loot crate design and opt for a more classic approach. And finally, we have visuals and performance. This game looks surprisingly good for an indie battle royale title. Character models and animations are a little stiff, and the game's physics for vehicles need some serious work, but various special effects like dust, dirt, and smoke look great. The game's LOD needs some serious tweaking as well. I often found nearby structures artifacting on my screen as I looked at them with a long-range scope. But the game's lighting and overall appearance works perfectly with their post-apocalyptic setting. The performance also needs some serious work. For the most part, performance is fine with frame rates in at around 80 FPS, but at some angles, especially when looking at large dust storms, frame rates can plummet and feel inconsistent. And that's all there really is to Fractured Lands. This post-apocalyptic Mad Max-style battle royale game delivers some unique design choices that help it stand out from the crowd. There's a few tweaks that need to be made to vehicle handling and control, the game's performance needs some work, and the online community might be worryingly small, but this game still has some great potential, and I'd like to see it expanded upon further. But what do you guys think? Are you going to pick it up? Let me know in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this posted every week.